What's going on, guys? Jay Tsuro, Jay with the Pay. Hope you're doing well and swell. Back with another video. Today, I want to talk about how to woman, if you will. What do I mean by that? Guys, I know it's very difficult nowadays to being in the dating market, the dating scene. You know, you want to talk with women, go out with them, be with them, etc., etc. Now, there's kind of one thing I will say before as a caveat, and that is you shouldn't base your whole life and existence upon chasing women and girls, right? And in truth, that will help you more. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to give you all the sauce that I learned. This is coming from somebody I have, had my fair share of women, currently married, and the rules have changed, that's for sure. But I'm going to give you practical advice, things that took me a while to learn. And, if you can just apply maybe one or two of the things that we go over in this video, I think that will help you significantly. The first one that I will go over is you need to have a higher calling, a purpose, something else on your pedestal, okay? You can never make a woman number one or top priority in your life. You just can't. They might say they want that. You cannot do that, and they don't want that either, right? So if you keep God at the first and foremost of your life, right? Your number one priority is God, your faith, your calling, your business, right? Your purpose. I shouldn't say just a business, but your purpose. A quality woman will respect that, okay? And you let them know up front, I'm focused on my faith, God, my purpose. That's number one for me, right? Doing that, it sets the expectation that, you are not going to be at every beckoning call and just listen and go with every single thing that they say, and that is the number one priority for you. So that's very important. You got to have something that, is more of a life's calling purpose, driver for you. So that's number one. Number two that we'll go into, let's talk about good places, where to go to actually meet women, okay? Guys, the clubs are dead. I'm not going to lie. At least here in America, probably over if you go to a rave in Croatia or something like that, it could be, something worth going to, right? But for the most part, nightlife is dying. Clubs are dead. People aren't drinking alcohol as much. It's just not as ingrained in our day-to-day as it used to be, which it used to be pretty much everything, right? I used to, kind of work hard through the week and then party hard on the weekend, right? You drink as much as you can, you go out. But guys, I'm here to tell you, clubs and these kind of normal places that you would go to meet women are not good, right? This is not going to be quality women. So what else am I talking about? So outside of clubs, get off the dating apps. No Tinder, no Hinge, no Bumble, Facebook Marketplace, POF, nothing, right? All that stuff, honestly, is a waste of time. And probably it's even worse now than when I, long ago used those, right? Maybe it worked a little bit back then. But at this point, with AI and, everyone knows what's up. People aren't using it. It's not good quality relationships for the most part. No diss if you met your wife or whoever on Tinder, but I would say for most people, it doesn't work. So avoid dating apps, avoid the club. I'm trying to think, but any kind of place or setting to go to where there's kind of degeneracy going on, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but and I guess there's different levels, right? It really depends, and let's just go into number three. But number two, to sum it up, is just avoid typical places where, people would find women before or whatever. Number three, let's talk about this. There's different phases, going to be different phases in your life as far as, getting with women, right? Now, if you're younger or whatnot, or even older, and you have aspirations, you want to, have a roster, kind of be this international playboy, so to speak. Some of these tips, it depends, right? You would still want a decent quality woman, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you want to go after a torta. I don't know. But, that's kind of a little different than somebody who's looking for, long-term relationship and a wife, right? But a lot of this stuff can apply. If you, still listen to step 1, step 2, purpose, get off of dating apps, and, don't be going to clubs and stuff like that, typically is going to be better quality women. Now, what you do with that, whether you're kind of wanting this, polyamorous relationship, or you're trying to, find Mrs. Right, the wife, right? But nonetheless, good quality spots. Let's talk about those. And guys, I've experienced how well these places work. I'm talking, and some of these, they might put you, out of your comfort level, right? I'm talking salsa classes, bachata classes, hot yoga, right? The gym. The gym is kind of the new club. Cycle, spin classes, Whole Foods. Let me think, where else? Those places are top tier. I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. Every time you go to one of those places, you will find attractive women. Let's go over it again. I think you guys really hone in on this one. Okay? I gave you some bad spots and things not to do as far as, finding them. Let's go over some good ones. All right. Good ones. I'm talking, again, Whole Foods, hot yoga, spin classes, the gym. What was the other one I said? Salsa, bachata classes. I mean, guys, these are phenomenal options. Not only are they going to be there, you're going to learn a skill. Cooking classes, right? Maybe roller skating, stuff like that. You're going to learn an activity and a skill, right? But there's going to be attractive women. And they will be of high quality, right? High quality women go to these places. Now, I'm not going to lie. Some of you might be intimidated by what I'm talking about, right? Where you're like, oh, that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. Why would I want to salsa? First off, if you're trying to get yourself a Latina baddie, they like to dance, fam. They like to dance. So, I'm telling you, it's going to be maybe some uncomfortability for you if, you never really danced or you don't have rhythm like that. But if you can learn and go to these classes and whatnot, and everyone's very friendly, right? I've done salsa. I did it for at least a few years, probably 3 to 5 years at the minimum. And everyone's really friendly. They're willing to help you. They're, happy to teach you. It's very respectful, right? It's not going to be like a club, traditional club, where everybody's just trying to get smashed. And, the place I went to, you could even bring your own drinks. So you're learning a skill. There's attractive women. You can bring your own drinks, and it's more affordable than going to the club. Fellas, I don't know what else you need, But that's going to be number 3, right? So number 1, we went over, having a higher purpose, calling, put God at the top in the center, right? Number 2, some of the bad places. I feel like I didn't give you guys enough bad places, but I mean, it's pretty much going to be anywhere where bad decisions are just bound to happen, right? So traditional bar, club, it's just not good, right? And then number 3, we went over a lot of good places, and that's a big one, guys. Take notes with those places. Now, let's talk about. I've got a couple more here for you, at least. Let's talk about how, once you actually locate, a woman, how you're gonna be and be able to go out with them for a while if you want, if not, right? you've got to actually be competent, and you have to be an interesting person, right? You have to be able to talk. You have to be, willing or able to tell stories, right? Women, the song Girls Just Like to Have Fun, right? They want to have fun. They want to do experiences. They want to go out on dates, right? That's just how it is. Now, this is another thing. If you are not the best talker, if you can't talk to women, you start getting butterflies or shy or whatever, do an activity for the first date. I'm telling you, don't take a woman out to dinner. Don't go out for coffee. If you're not a good talker or confident, take them to do an activity. Bowling, roller skating, archery, fishing, some type of activity that there's something else that you can do and discuss, right? If you go bowling with a woman and, they hit a spare or a strike, you'd be like, oh, good job. Like, I'm trying to get like you. What if you bowl really good? You're like, yeah, I could teach you a thing or two about bowling, right? Not to be corny here, but it gives you something else to discuss rather than just, 21 questions because you're at your first date and you're having a latte, right? So very important. If you're not a good talker, if it's the first date, do an activity. Laser tag. I'm giving you guys just a bunch, random things, but the main objective and point is I would always recommend for the first date to do an activity. Now, some of you might be like, oh, it's too much commitment. I'm broke, whatever. Okay. Well, a caveat to all this and what I would do is when you first kind of talk to a woman. Now, let's just go ahead to number 5. And this is kind of how you first engage with a woman, right? If you're looking on social media, let me tell you guys this. A hot woman on social media is getting so many dang messages that if you say, hey, gorgeous, how you doing? They're not even going to look at it. Guys, believe it or not, women have hobbies and they have interests. They are people, I've come to realize. I'm joking around here, but also being serious. I say that to say a lot of men will just be like, you're hot, you're gorgeous. And it's like, bro, no game, that does not work, right? You need to talk about something that's going to hit them where they were not expecting, right? If they're into karate, be like, oh, wow, like, I see you're the purple belt. I used to do taekwondo. I was a green belt. Like, how do you like karate? How have you, been doing with it? You ask them about something that they're doing, okay? Maybe the karate one is not the best example, but, say they're into horses. Say the lady is a equestrian, and she's always posting horses and stuff. I would DM or do a voice message, and I would say, oh, like that horse is very beautiful. It's amazing. What kind of horse is that? How long have you been working with horses? And talk to them about something they're interested in. They're a lot more likely to respond if it's something that genuinely interests them. So I hope you guys aren't missing this. Like, if you've made it this far, this is a lot of sauce. I'm not even joking here, right? If you kind of take some of these and apply them, I think you'll do better. I think you'll have better results. But yeah, I mean, DMing on Instagram and that sort of thing, it works. It's harder. I'm not going to lie. But what I would do is once you do the DM, build some rapport and then just keep doing it. And don't be desperate for it either, right? Like, sometimes you can let it go a little bit. So maybe you message this week, right? You build some rapport and then wait for them to post a story or something that you think is interesting. It's like, oh my gosh, like, you're doing all kinds of stuff. Like, you had the horses, now you're in a cooking class. Like, what do you not do? And kind of build it up over time. And then, once you feel good, be like, Hey, I am really into, cooking. Like, I want to learn how to be a better cook. I want to take you out and I want to go to a cooking class and have you, give me some tips so I can learn how to cook better. Dude, I'm telling you, guys, this is how I gamed and picked up my wife. Like, but this is what I was doing. Before my wife was my wife, I thought she was, going to be another addition to the team, right? Now, she ended up being very high quality, which is why, I married her. But guys, this is the exact blueprint. And, I'm not going to get too much into it, but your boy, we picked up a Latina baddie, fellas. Let me just say that. And for those of you that do not believe me, yo puedo hablar un poquito de español y mi esposa habla español también. Ya tú sabes. Okay? So, guys, I'm giving you real practical advice. This isn't going to be, some highly edited, crazy cut YouTube video. I'm giving you guys some practical steps. I've got some more I can share with you as well, but some of these are going to help out tremendously, okay? Now, I kind of gave you 5 or 6, but to kind of go over them, and I'm going to end this video. Number 1, you got to have your purpose. You got to have faith. You got to believe in God, and that's your number 1 pedestal. A woman can be number 2 if you want, right? Places to avoid, right? Don't do the typical things, right? The dating apps don't work. That's just validation and attention-seeking women that are on those nowadays, right? Dating apps don't really work, or they don't anymore, in my opinion. Clubs, avoid those, I don't know, just other typical places, AA meetings, right? If you want even high quality women just to date or marry, whatever, right? I would avoid bad places. Number 3, go to good places. We talked about Whole Foods, dance classes, spin classes, hot yoga. Like, fellas, I'm telling you, and don't talk shit either. If you've never done any of those that I said, never been there, you never been to Whole Foods even, I'm telling, don't be like, oh, these don't work, bro. Dude, have you ever done a dance class? Have you ever went to a spin class? Have you ever went to hot yoga? Do you go to nice affluent areas like the gym or the grocery store they have there? There's going to be attractive women. And then another thing is, you got to talk. The next thing we went over was, if you're not good at talking, pick an activity on the first date, especially. And that's a big cheat code, right? I'm telling you, because if you've got to come up with just interview questions and be able to entertain the woman, and you're just sitting at, a restaurant. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'll give you guys an example. I once took a woman out to IHOP, and I barely knew this chick. She was awkward as fuck. Now, I wasn't the best either. So it was 2 awkward people sitting in fucking IHOP, not knowing what to say, right? So don't do restaurants. And it's expensive, right? You could probably save money if you do bowling or, some other activity. But try to do activities if you're not a good talker and for the first date. And then the next thing we went over was, if you're DMing on Instagram or social media, try to target an interest that they have, right? Look beyond the looks. I know that's, kind of what you see and what you like, and, you want to bone or get with this woman, right? But look beyond that. They are a person. They have interests. And if you're able to find out what that is and message them about that, you can use that, not in a malicious way, but you've noticed that they seem genuinely interested in that. Tell me more about that, right? That's going to be a way to where you can start building that rapport and that conversation, right? As opposed to all the other guys are saying, you're hot, you're attractive, when can I take you out? 10 out of 10 baddie. None of that works. None of that works. Maybe it works if you're like a Chad, right? If you're Timothy Chalamet, whatever. Maybe it works. But outside of that, that's going to be it. If you made it to the end of the video, you're a real one. I appreciate the support. I would highly recommend you subscribing. We're going to be going into a lot more. We're just getting started. And then also leave a like. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can leave them down below. Jay Tsuro out. Have a great day.